you did like this challenge.
14 tracks, 14 days. I was trying to find a way, one, to earn the respect, because there's this assumption, she can play, but can she produce? I've heard this for years. Two, to people to really see who I am. So I've got a degree in zoology, obviously completely opposite to what I'm doing now.
Right.
I just thought, okay, I love this, but I love this too. And it was a choice I had to make when I graduated. And I didn't even go to my graduation. I went straight to Ibiza.
Fleur Shore is the real deal. From cutting her teeth as a resident at Birmingham's Lab 11 to releasing on Jamie Jones's Hot Creations, she's gone from a local favourite to international headliner in what feels like a blink. And this episode of the Dojo podcast, we get into the engine behind her rise, the work ethic, the music, the intention, and the story behind the viral moment that pushed her onto the biggest stages in the world. You were preparing the groundwork for something big to happen, and then something big happened.
Yeah, it happened.
Take me to that moment.
Fuck yeah, I remember it. A crazy moment. So it's actually...
Welcome everybody to the next episode of the Dojo podcast. Today we have one of the most influential DJs in house music today, Fleur Shore. Fleur has had a meteoric rise over the last couple of years. We've been friends for a couple of years as well, talking for a couple of years. And it is an absolute pleasure to have her on the Dojo podcast because she has got a lot of amazing information for young artists and advice for how to break through and what she did to build an outstanding career in house music. So welcome to the Dojo podcast, Fleur Shore.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So Fleur, let's get started straight away. I always ask these questions because I kind of want to get an idea of how the passion for music got ignited. You know, that is always really interesting to me. And quite often I hear like similar stories, but I'm curious of what it is for you. So I know that you have a love for like 80s hip hop, 90s hip hop, R&B. Like, how did you first get into music and what ignited the passion and the obsession, I would say?
Yeah, totally. The obsession. I mean, wow. Okay. So I'd say this all started really, I must have been 2 or 3 years old. And I have such fond memories of this. And I remember I've got an older brother, older sister.
Right.
And every time we was in the house, MTV would be blasting to the point where it's overwhelming, you know. I must have been so overstimulated as a kid. Yeah. My brother and sister were crazy and the music's blasting, MTV. Just that is... It's almost like I was exposed to that at such a young age, you know. I was constantly around music. My parents were old ravers as well.
Right.
My dad, bless him.
You know, that's a common theme that I keep hearing. Archie's mum as well.
Oh, my dad was a serious raver.
Okay.
And I'm going to out him here, but he used to sneak out the bathroom window when we was all in bed. You ain't going to like that, but... Yeah, I mean, they went to a club called Wobble in Birmingham. Okay. Which is like legendary from where I'm from, like back in the day. And they used to go week in, week out. So it's obviously in their blood. It's passed down to me. Yeah. And then just being around that as a kid, like even now, I get in my mum's car. She's constantly got house music blasting. She's like, oh, have you
Okay, so they still listen to house now?
Oh, yeah, totally. They still go out now. They went to an event in Birmingham, I think like a month ago. Just
I love that.
Yeah, it's fun, ain't it?
You know, that is, you know what, like, it's so interesting to me, this, because I keep hearing these sort of parallels that we all have, people who make music their life. For me, it was my dad as well. Yeah. Like, same thing, goes back memories to when I was 2-3 years old. Yeah. And, you know, he would put on, like, Isaac Hayes' theme of Shaft, which is like a legendary sort of movie soundtrack to a 70s blaxploitation movie. And we would dance to that every morning before we go to kindergarten. And I would want to listen to that tune. And it was like really funky, quite sophisticated, you know? Yeah. And it's like these early kind of, this early exposure to cool sounds really does shape you for life.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course it does. It's like, I feel like when you're exposed to that, it's not just a frequency. It's like, for me, it's like an energetic thing as well, you know? Yeah. You're within that realm. So how can you not take this on?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So like, you said like your older siblings were really just into music. Like, what, like, were they into club culture then as well and started going out before you were allowed to go and you were just like, when can I go? Because like,
yes. I mean, we've all since we were, I mean, I was going into the town when I was 14.
Right.
I was stealing my sister's ID because she's a few years older than me.
Right.
And this is such a funny story, right? I don't know who I thought I was in high school. I was just so strong-willed. I mean, even now I'm strong-willed, but back then I did not give a fuck. Honestly, I was uncontrollable. But there's this one story, right? We was all going out. I was 14, 15 years old, and we used to have our photo taken, you know, like when you're in a nightclub or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it actually went in one of the local newspapers.
Right.
And I remember I went to school like on the Monday, and my English teacher pulled me aside. She was like, you know who's flicking through the newspaper and your photo's there in a nightclub? I was like, yeah, it's fine, blah, blah, blah. There's like, do your parents know? Like, yeah, they ain't bothered. And then I went back the next week, stood outside, gave them my sister's ID. They took my ID and they were like, no, we know you're like 14 or 15 years old. And I remember just standing outside
Found
thinking,
out.
fuck, I've been caught here. But like you said, my sister and my brother, we used to go at such a young age into nightclubs and obviously starting to get into the music, and I seen that when I was young, so it was normal for me to just go out and party.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's very similar for me. You know, like my older brother got me into house music. He was also the first that started buying vinyl, and then like I was just like, okay, this is cool. Like, did the DJing spark get ignited through your siblings as well, or was that something that you found by yourself?
Well, I'd actually say it's my cousin.
Right.
So I would have been 18 at the time, and he started to learn to DJ.
Right.
And always, even when I was young, you know, we'd have house parties. It was always my phone that we plugged into the speaker. Yeah. I was known as the one that would
with
be
the tunes.
Yeah, with the tunes. Literally, that was me. And
yeah.
every Sunday before school, I remember I'd go into BearShare and LimeWire.
And
I used to illegally rip all the music.
LimeWire,
put it on my Sony Ericsson, and when I'd walk to school, and I remember I'd be listening to it on my Sony Ericsson. So I used to do that every Sunday, and that's what I'd say when I really started to explore with electronic music. You know, at the time there was like Skrillex. This is when Scream was making dubstep. That's what got me into electronic. There's like Benga and Scream, Flux Pavilion.
Very influential. At the time.
Yeah.
And like huge records as well, you know?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Like the obviously, like, you know, the one that Scream just sort of got him into like the mainstream consciousness was with LaRue, you know, going in for the kill. You know, that tune was everywhere.
Oh, it was so good. Wow, that's brought back memories. We've been saying that. But yeah, that's what started dubstep. That was what really got me into electronic, and then I started exploring then and understanding what house music was. Then my cousin brought a set of DJ decks when I was 18.
What kind of decks? Was it a controller?
Tiny tractor controller. Right. It was literally this big.
Okay.
And I remember he DJ'd at my 18th birthday party. And I remember seeing him doing it and thinking, what's this? Do you know what I mean? I seen how he kind of like just had us all with the music, and there was just how you can control and influence a room and a vibe of a room with DJing. And I seen him do that, and I thought, I want to explore this.
Okay.
And then it was maybe 2 months later, I bought myself the exact same controller and taught myself to DJ.
All right.
And here I am.
Okay. Well, there's a few steps in between after that.
Yeah, I think so.
Quite a few steps in between. Okay, then like, how old were you at that age?
I would have been 18.
18, okay.
Yeah.
And then like, when did things become serious? Like because this is the same thing for a lot of people, you know, they get their first set of decks, you know, they start dabbling. It's very addictive, you know. Yeah. You start playing at home.
You learn as well. You understand.
It's just so just understanding the mixing. Yeah, when you get your first beat matches together, you're like, that's like a huge thing. Yeah, you know,
such an incredible feeling when you know and you can hear that you're doing it right.
Yeah, and you're like, and you're progressing, you're getting better. Like, at what point did you then think, okay, this could be an option for a career, this could be an option for a life, and I want to learn how to make this music? Because going the step from playing the music to making the music, I think it's a huge thing. It is. And it's not the same. It doesn't really translate.
It's two worlds.
Yeah, it's two worlds.
Completely separate worlds.
Yeah. Like, and you have to apply yourself to something completely new. When did that happen?
I learned to make music. It would have been about 7 years now. Yeah, so I'm 29 now. Yeah. So I've been DJing 11 years, produced I'd say 7, maybe even 7 or 8 years. And I started when I went to university. So I got a degree in zoology.
Right.
So I was at uni, and that's when I was DJing loads. And I mean, my course was incredible. I love animals, so it was like the study of animals, and great degree, but obviously completely opposite to what I'm doing now.
Right.
But I kind of knew when I was studying, I just thought, okay, I love this, but I love this too. And it was a choice I had to make, like when I graduated. And I didn't even go to my graduation. I went straight to Ibiza.
You know what? This is so mad.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
I didn't go to my graduation.
Fuck that, I was out of there.
I didn't show up. Like, I didn't like, you know what? I never even showed up like to like any like lectures in the in the last year, you know. And like, I did go to the exams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my course tutor was just going to me like, he's like, Ben, he goes like, we'll give you a pass degree. You know, like what a pass degree is?
No.
They'll just give you like when you basically done nothing, but you've done enough. You've done enough that you deserve a degree, but you're not getting like an official grade to do. It's just called a pass.
I've never heard of that before.
No, I'd never heard of it before. He goes like, we'll give you a pass.
Just a little backhander.
Yeah, we'll give you a pass. You got it. And then I went home to my dad. It's like, a pass? And he's like, yeah, I saw you pass. Great, you know?
That's so
and I was
funny.
like, and everybody was like a 2-2 or whatever they're going to.
Yeah.
But you know, for me, it was the same. I like the passion for DJing got ignited at uni. And obviously at uni, you go out.
Oh my God.
A lot.
Every 3-4 times a week.
Mondays was like the biggest night. I was like,
know.
how the hell did we even manage?
Yeah.
I mean, the energy you have at that age, you know,
it's so true.
Also, it's like, it's crazy. And I feel UK universities are quite unique in that sense.
Yeah.
And for all of the podcast listeners who haven't gone to a UK university, you go to uni in the UK and you start as a fresher, and they start with a freshers week, right? And it's relentless going out and partying, and that's organized often by the student union, you know, like by other students, and it's just a club culture. It's just sort of baked into the student experience.
Totally.
You know? Where did you go to uni?
In Derby.
Right.
Uni
okay.
Derby.
Was there a scene there?
There was, but it was more Nottingham, so we travelled to Nottingham. But I used to DJ at an event.
So you go to Stealth and Nottingham?
Stealth, of course.
Okay, yeah.
So it's actually like thinking about it, like, you know, when you talk about it, it's nostalgic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think like going to Stealth and then actually playing, do you know what I mean? It's crazy to even think about that now. But yeah, when I was in Derby, I used to play on a Monday and a Wednesday called Mucky Duck. And it was it's so funny. I used to
name.
I used to play on the terrace because obviously I used to play like house and tech house and all this. And I remember I'd play on the terrace and no one would even understand. Obviously, when you're young, like the younger students, they had no education on what I was trying to bring, like musically. And I remember every week they'd be like, just play something we know. I was just like, no, I'm sticking to this. I'm firm in what I'm playing. And that's really where it started at uni and started playing at local nightclubs in my town then.
Right.
And
that was in Birmingham, right?
In Tamworth, like in a small town on like the suburbs of Birmingham.
Okay.
And playing like the local nightclub there. And even when I used to play there, they always used to say, you're not playing commercial enough, you need to play more commercial. Again, not listening. I was just very strong-willed.
It's something that kind of, I feel is a very common thing with DJs when they get their first gigs. It's like you don't get to, you haven't got a name yet. You haven't built a brand yet. You're not plugged into the scene yet. Obviously, you're taking any gigs that you can. And quite often, they all want to have the more commercial stuff, the more accessible. And straddling that line of like, keeping people on the floor but still doing what you want to do and play you want to do. I think it's a great school. It's a good, of course it's a great school for DJing because, you know, you have to lock people into something that's probably a bit more unusual for what they're normally used to hearing. And then keep them entertained, you know. So
it's like educating the crowd with, and they're going out for a commercial night, trying to show them something that is different to what they're usually listening to.
But they would still love it at the end, you know what I mean? And then maybe have exposed them to something that they wouldn't have heard before, and then, you know, going down the rabbit hole. At what point did it become a thing where you got more plugged into the house music scene? Because I know you landed a residency at Lab 11, which is, you know, probably one of the premier clubs of Birmingham. Terminal was the night, which is, you know, a very well-known night in the UK that features up-and-coming talent, and you got a residency there. Tell me how all of that came about, and how did they notice you, and how did you land that residency?
So this would have been, I must have been 20. And there was an event in Tamworth, in the small town where I'm from, called Hogtown. And they used to book artists from Birmingham, Pete Graham, Low Stepper, who else have been, Tom Shorters, Alex Parkin, all these DJs that were on the Birmingham scene. And I remember they told me, you're going to be warming up, you're going to be opening the night for Tom Shorters. And I remember I begged and begged, and I was like, please let me play before him. No, sorry, it's after him. I was like, please let me play after him, please. And I remember they were saying, we can't. I remember I begged and I begged, and I was like, please let me do it. I want him to see how I play, who I am, and all of this. And they said yes, and they let me do it. And then he's seen me play. Tom Shorters was one of the biggest promoters in Birmingham, you know, booking bassline events, all the drum and bass, all these other events. He still does them now. And it was a brand called 231, which I used to go to week in, week out. Like there was 1031 and 231. And he seen me mix my first track, and he leant over, and I remember he went, do you know my brand 231? He was like, I want you to play. And I was like, yeah, of course. But imagine you're like 20 years old, you go into this brand all the time, and you've got the promoter there, and he's just told me he wants to book me. And he followed through with it then, and he booked me, and that's where it started. And as well, also had, you know, Hannah Wants?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So she run DJ competitions within that time, and I won 2 of the competitions.
Because she's a Birmingham girl as well, right?
Yeah, from Birmingham. Yeah. And I won the competition consecutively 2 years in a row.
Amazing.
And that's what started then. Then obviously people were like, who is this? And yeah, then I started to get booked.
This is so interesting to me, because there's so many parallels that what I hear, and it's very, really valuable, because you know, a lot of people that are watching the podcast are people who are trying to figure out how to make it, basically, you know? And like, one thing that I always say to people is like, first, you got to go to the parties, and you got to go to them a lot.
Yes.
The promoter needs to know who you are, because you're there every week, needs to know your face. Don't be going there for your first time ever and going up to the promoter straight away and going like, "Hey, can I have a gig?" It's like
he's got to
see you. He's got to see you on that floor, week in, week out, for like a
dancing
good year,
your ass off,
for like a good year, and then eventually you say, "It's like, by the way, I also DJ. How about a warm-up slot every now and then? Would you like to try me out? Here's a tape," that kind of thing. It's very similar to how it used to work at Fuse in London, you know, like everybody that ended up becoming a resident for the party was just first and foremost a raver that showed up every single week and was just there with us in the trenches, you know?
It's a commitment, isn't it? It's like you showing the person that you commit to their party, like, and you can't just send an Instagram message, book me.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
I don't know how
it
does not work. It's like, it's a mutual respect and an understanding.
You know, mutual respect, understanding, getting to know each other, and you know, building relationships, you know? I always say, like, in this scene, like, relationships are built on the dance floor, you know?
So true.
And this is one of the things, you know, we're at ADE now, by the way, like, in case people who are watching the podcast don't know this, but we're recording this podcast now in Amsterdam, and I used to go to ADE a long time before I ever got booked at ADE. Just wanted to be part of it. Just wanted to go talk to people. I remember I was at a party at Elementstraat warehouse, and a young dude came up to me and says like, "Are you Ben Rao?" And I'm like, "Yes." He says like, "I have a party in Manchester. I'd like to book you for it." And I'm like, "What's your name?" He says like, "My name's Josh Baker." Right?
No way.
And he was a young guy that, like, I can't even remember if he'd released music at that point. I think
How long ago was this?
Oh, this was way before COVID, but it must have been about 2017, 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
I knew I had just started my label Meta, so it must have been around 2017. And then we got talking, and then he sent me music, and I invited him to come out to Berlin, because I said, like, the music's good, but we need to work on the mix down, but come out and we work on it together.
Yeah.
And he came out to Berlin, we worked on it. He ended up releasing on the label. Like, I mean, it takes 10 years to make an overnight success, but now he's off, you know?
Oh, it's so good to see.
And he's off, you know, and well deserved, because he's done everything.
He's worked so hard.
He's worked his ass off. He's done everything.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I'm so buzzing for him.
You know, like that. I mean, like, the whole event side of things. That's a whole different thing again.
That's another world.
Another world and a whole other level of stress that you're putting on yourself.
Totally.
If you're putting on events and big events, you know.
Yeah.
He smashed that. Okay, back to Birmingham. The Lab 11 residency. So then the promoter gave you a slot. clearly, you impressed and that you became a regular. How long did that go on for? And then what happened in that time while you were a resident?
Yeah, I was playing at Lab 11 for years. I think it would have been like 4 years, like pretty much week in, week out. There was After Dark, 231. There was also a party at the Rainbow called Mr. Jangles.
Yeah.
There was just so much going on in Digbeth at the time, and I was kind of within all of the parties, and it was really just playing week in, week out. I remember just doing the drive there, the drive back. Oh, it's just so vivid in my memory. And then it was when I signed with Luke, my agent, would have been 5 years ago. And then that's when it really started to blow up from the residency in Birmingham. And then that's when I got booked for Terminal.
Was that around the time where you got the Cutting Heads release? Because I became first aware of you really around the time where that record came out. Like,
I
remember you like, it's release Friday. You're doing like a thing to camera. It's release Friday. Got a new release out in Cutting Heads, and I was like, oh, who's this girl? And I remember you did something on Microhertz around that time as well. So like, how did
maybe 4 years ago that would have been. 5 years,
must have been longer than that. 5 years, something like that.
I need to check that. Time just goes so fast.
It was I remember seeing that, and then like to me, and like I started really seeing like, okay, something's going on here with this girl, because you did like this challenge. I think it was 27 tracks in 27 days.
It was 14 tracks, 14 days. 14 tracks. I'm actually going to do this again in January,
Oh, really?
So many people have mentioned this in the last month. Honestly, it's crazy you've mentioned that.
Yeah.
So many people have mentioned it, like, oh, blah, 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 you're going to do it again. In January, I've got 3 weeks off and I'm doing it again.
When I saw that, that really blew my mind.
Yeah.
That, for me, that was the sort of pivotal moment where I realized this girl's for real, right? And like, I feel like there's a lot being talked about in this industry about like female representation in the scene. And I think the one thing where like a lot of women don't get credit, or like male producers sometimes looking down at females in the scene, they would always say like, well, she's a big name, but she's not a producer. They always say that, but she's not a producer. Somebody's making the tunes for her. That's always the thing that you see. I was like, okay, you do 14 tracks in 14 days and we'll see what they sound like. Because I can't fucking do that. And I feel like by doing that, you've just proved all the naysayers kind of wrong. It shut up all the doubters in terms of like, is this real? Is she like, a real producer, a real DJ? And it kind of really put you on the map. So how did you get that idea? And and I think you did like edit releases before as well, like an edit series. Tell me about all of these things that I call going the extra mile. To get noticed. Like, how did you come up with these kind of strategies and these kind of little things?
Well, that's exactly what it is. You're saying about going the extra mile to get noticed. And I was trying to find a way to earn the respect of peers, because automatically what you said there's this assumption, she can play, but can she produce? I've heard this for years. It's normal. It's
the old trope that always it's being brought up.
That's just how it is. And I was just thinking of a way, like I said, 1, to build respect, 2, to people to really see who I am, like, I'm a DJ, but I can also produce, like, and I'm really happy with where I'm at with that. And I was just trying to think of ideas, and that was one of them, because I realised how important social media, well, it is so important. And unfortunately, this is the scene we're in now. But I think, like, people can either get used to it, or they're just going to, like, dissolve. And I know that is just
it's
how
either
it
adapt
is.
or die, basically.
Exactly. And you have to adapt to these things and use them to your advantage. Because if that wasn't there, then people probably wouldn't have known me as much in that time of me breaking through when it was the most important. And I just really wanted to give it my all. I remember the conversations we was having about the reels and before the video went viral, and testing out so many things. Like I work with Johnny, one of my friends now, who has his own marketing and social media company. We work together on the socials, but before that I was doing it all on my own.
I really want to dig into that a little bit deeper. This is one of the questions that I had written down for you, because I remember that it didn't happen by chance.
Oh my God,
it was trial error. Like Fish Octagon was on the podcast a couple of months ago, and he goes like, trial error, see what works.
Yeah.
Like, you know, iterate and then repeat and just keep repeating the things that work, noticing patterns. So like, I think around that time, me and you started talking, we sort of, weirdly that we never met, but like so we spoke a lot online, and we were always chatting and stuff like that and catching up with each other. And like, I remember like speaking, like, you know, whenever I would play like in South America or stuff, I would always go to the brothers. You should book Fleur Shore. Like she's like the next big thing, you know? And then at some point, and this is me wanting to dig into the social media thing now, is like we talked about social media, and you said to me, Ben, I'm taking this very seriously now. I'm posting every day and I'm doing it systematically and I'm preparing. And I remember asking you at the time, like, how do you prepare? What do you do? But I don't want to tell the story. I want you to tell the story. So how did you come up with this thing which eventually led to a life-changing moment where you went viral? Yeah. But the viral moment didn't happen by chance. It happened through, you know, trying lots of different things out. So tell me all about this time. What happened in your head that got you to realize this is what I've got to do, and how did you figure this thing out?
Yes, I remember it was when Reels came out, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, maybe about 4 years ago. And I remember every time something comes up on Instagram and it says new feature, blah, 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 I'll always use it because it favors then your algorithm. And I remember seeing this and being like, okay, I'm gonna see what this is. And I remember I was posting then Reels, carousels, all this different kind of things. And like what you said, Fish Octagon said, trial and error. I was trying different things. And before the viral moment, I think I must have been posting a reel every day. I reckon it was 4 months. Yeah. Every day, consistent. I remember you maybe doing even that. Longer. Yeah. Yeah. And I was noticing the views starting to go up, and they were going up. And then I remember I had this, and you've got to find what works for you. Yeah. I know what my people like on socials is a front face video. And I found that out from the viral video. That's what people wanted to see. They wanted to see a video, me from the front, because it's like they're stood in front of me in the crowds. Yeah. It's like, it's relatable. Close up, relatable. Exactly. Not from behind. Yeah. Because, you know, that was... see it. It's boring. And that was, you know, like, I feel, you know, who've really changed the game in that respect of, like, Mochak changed the game in that. Totally, yeah, He was the first one. He was the first. He was the first one where it was all frontal videos, and then you get the flick, you know, to the crowd. And it was the first one to did that. And he kind of changed things up. That's what happened for him, didn't it? He had a viral moment. Yeah, and it was really like him, because, like, you know, obviously he's an expressive guy. He gesticulates, and you can see the music going through his body, you know, because he does all the weird, you know, you can see like he feels the tunes and he does that, and people would find that entertaining, you know, and to have the camera on him from the perspective on the crowd was really, to me, like a mind-blowing moment, because like until then it was literally just, you know, like you could get away as a DJ with like you're DJing, you're turning around, who's behind you, you pass them your phone, not even having a dedicated social media person on with you, and you like, can you get a couple of clips? And usually, like, because you're handing it to a random person, they don't know how to film, they don't know how to do anything. You know, like, best case scenario is you get somebody holding the phone still and you see from the back. Worst case scenario is they're dancing while they're filming. You can't see anything. And then you get the artistic ones who think they can film on their legs, and then do like, you know, zooming in on your finger while you're, you know, moving your fader. It's like, dude, my husband still does that. If he tours with me and Johnny's not with me, and he's like, oh, I'll get you some videos, and I turn back and I'm like, what? You're like, fuck's sake, what are you and he's filming? Doing all this. He's drank my ride. If he's already wasted, drank all my tequila, then his arm starts doing this thing, and I'm like, what are you filming? Just chill. What are you filming? Just go sit in the green room. I'm just like, you know what? Like, I remember, like, I was in Australia and I played Lost Sundays, you know, which is a big party, a big venue at the Ivy in Sydney.
And it was a great party. It was like the birthday, and it was ramoed. And I had my best mate, Alex. Alex Hamilton, this goes out to you. One of my best mates there, Alex. And I was like, Alex, you've got to do the filming. And I showed him before. It's like, you've got to keep it on me on the moment. Because, and like at the end of the night, I got the phone back and I was just flipping through clips. And I was like, what the?
Like stopped it just as it dropped.
You had like literally, he was just like, you can hear him chatting and it's like, like, talking to other people. Like, and I was like, dude, you had one job.
Yeah.
Like, you had one job. But I've realized, and this is so difficult now, and which makes it harder for up and coming DJs is now, it's like, now the level of content that is expected of you is so high and so professional that it's almost like, if you don't travel with a team, if you don't travel with a dedicated media person, like how do you get those shots?
Honestly,
and it just puts another barrier in between up and comers that are maybe already touring, but they don't have they can't afford a media guy coming with them. And the top tier people who have a team around them who create all of this content all the time. And it's just another barrier. I feel
that's what you're saying there. That's the situation I was in.
Yeah.
So like when I first broke in and signed with my agent and was understanding social media and how important it was, like I remember for probably the first 6 months to a year of touring, I had no money at all.
Yeah.
Because I always took someone with me because I knew how important it was to showcase that I was playing in these other countries.
This is important
though.
It's like you made that financial sacrifice of saying like, I'd rather invest in getting the clips. I remember you actually writing a message to me, gotta get those clips. Like you actually wrote that exact message.
So adamant.
Gotta get those clips.
Gotta get those clips, man.
Gotta get those clips. But that's really amazing to hear, because I wasn't aware of that you sacrificed your own hard-earned money. And like, people always think DJs are rich.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
Like
you
some of them are.
Yeah.
Not
when
very few of them are. And
the
thing is, it's like, yes, we do earn good money, right? But huge overheads, travel costs, a team that comes with you.
Yes.
Landed deals where like, this is your set sum. You got to take care of everything else.
Totally.
You got to get there. You know what I mean? And then if you don't want to get there destroyed and you're upgrading or something, it costs a lot of money.
Well, if you're going halfway across the world, you don't really want to be flying economy, do you?
No.
Not when you're probably coming from the back end of 3-4 shows and you're exhausted.
It's horrific.
Yeah, you just battering yourself.
Horrific. Yeah. It's like it's tough, and we get to talk about that in a bit as well. But but going back to the point, really interesting to hear that you actually invested that money up front.
Yeah.
Because you were aware of the importance of building that social media presence. Gotta get those clips,
Get them clips, boy.
Building that social media presence for them, preparing the groundwork for something big to happen. And then something big happened.
Yeah, it happened.
Take me to that moment.
Yes.
I remember it, but I want to hear it from you.
Oh, fuck yeah, I remember it. A crazy moment. So I was actually playing Destino Music On.
Yeah.
And I had my videographer there, and he got the video, and I was like, okay, cool. Obviously, I was doing all my own socials at the time. Remember flicking through the clips. I was like, okay, it's a cool one. I'll put that up. Put it up as a reel. Literally went to bed, woke up, and this video was on like 1 or 2 million views. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, my following went from 30,000 to 300,000 in the space of a month.
It was just going, that. Boom, it went 10x.
Boom. Oh my God, it was crazy. And obviously it was incredible. But with that, then there was also a lot of negativity,
How did this happen? Did she buy the likes?
You've paid for the followers. You've paid for this, blah, blah, blah. And then you're just like, fucking hell. Like, it made me realise and actually have more compassion for people, because, you see this thing happen, but you don't understand the behind everything and what that person's getting. Like, you see a viral moment with someone, you think,
and you see people change also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's some, I did notice, one thing I really noticed was this almost like animosity and kind of hate for a few months when I'd walk into a room when there was other DJs and all this, and it's not, I understand it's not intentional. They weren't intentional, like, we want to upset you or anything. It's just a natural human response. It's just an emotion.
I think that's some of the toxicity of social media is the comparing.
Yes.
Right.
Totally.
The comparing thing, you know, and it's like you never like one of the things that I found funny is that like you never really have animosity to people who are way ahead of you, and then that stops. You always have the animosity with people who are right in the same bracket.
Yeah.
People who are a little bit ahead, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's okay to feel this. This is a normal human
I felt challenged.
emotion.
Like, I found that challenge myself sometimes. I found like sometimes I would struggle with jealousy. I saw Luke Van Dijk posting recently. He says like, I've struggled with jealousy, comparing myself, social media. And like we all struggled with that. It's very normal.
We're in like a pressure cooker, I feel, in this industry, because people can literally go up like that overnight. And it's not, you know, it's work that's made them go like that, but that still can happen. But we're in this pressure cooker because there's only a limited amount of slots, really, isn't there? So if you're not pulling your ass through, then you could lose it totally.
I think you run into problems when you get your sense of self-worth of how many likes and how many followers you have. When that doesn't, when it's not coming from people around you anymore, but your sense of self-worth is tied to if you having a great moment in the industry or not, because it's up or down, you know what I mean?
So true.
Nobody stays like up all of the time and stays, you know, you have to kind of reinvent yourself all of the time.
You have to be adaptable to that. That's one thing that I've really noticed in this industry. You're gonna go like that, you're gonna go like that. It's like this, it's up and down, but I think as long as the trajectory is constantly up, it doesn't matter if it goes like that or like that, but it's
kind of like the stock market. I'm an investor. Stock market goes up and goes down.
Well, right? We actually spoke about this, didn't we?
And, we'll talk about this, Stephen. You know what? I think I have to start a business for this because the amount of people that I'm giving investment advice now.
Well, I've started investing since we spoke, so you know.
Yeah, like we'll have another conversation about that. But it's like the stock market. The stock market goes up and it goes down, and you never know what it's going to do on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. But the long-term trajectory is up. Yeah. Right. So over the long term, you know it's going to go up, but on day-to-day, it'll be like this, it'll be like that. And I think like getting less invested in just like being more consistent, but getting less invested into individual results. Like I used to be terrified of posting on Instagram. I was like, oh my God, how is this post going to do? Like, I would feel great if the post took off, and I feel awful if the post wasn't feeling. And you know, like when Instagram introduced a feature to hide your thing, right? Yeah. And I was like, I called it the shame button, which because it's literally like I'm embarrassed about my engagement, and therefore like, I'm hiding it. But if you use it, you know that you're broadcasting to the world. I'm embarrassed about this engagement of this particular post.
I'm just going to hide
it. I'm just going to hide it. Yeah. And it's obvious what you're doing. And it's and like, what if it was water off a duck's back? And I've hidden plenty of posts. I'm not saying that I haven't done it. I've fallen into that trap as well, right? Hidden the likes, I mean. Yeah. But what if we just went like, you know what? The day-to-day doesn't matter, right? Some posts go great. Some posts don't go great.
Some do shit. That's just how it is.
And that's normal. The important thing is consistency and building on your growth and that, you know?
It's so important. Consistency is so much more important. And I think you just have to catch yourself. You know, you're saying about the self-worth being attached to the likes and all this. It's like, I think for me, it's just an awareness. Like that viral moment taught me an awareness, because when that happens, it's like dopamine. You're thinking, fuck, oh my God, what is this? Like, I remember when it happened, I was actually physically shaking because, you know, it's crazy, ain't it?
I talked to you literally, like you left me a voice note, like literally the day after it happened. And you were like, Ben, it's mental. What the hell's going on? You know? Man. And it was amazing to see. And because I had talked to you in the months running up to this, you told me about your strategy. You told me how seriously you're taking it now. You told me that you're posting every day. I knew it wasn't a fluke. I knew it wasn't bought. Like, you can't actually buy that thing. Like, you can't. Like, if you did, like, I think you get your account would get shadow banned anyway. Like, I think back in the days you could, but nowadays you can't even do that anymore. So, like, I knew it was real. I knew it was at the back of hard work, and I knew it was deserved. And I was like, hats off, you know. Talk to me about how your life changed after that.
Yeah, so then obviously so many more bookings started to come in, and I think people was just seeing me Like I then felt part of the industry, because it's like you work so hard and then you kind of question to yourself, when am I part of this community or this industry? But for me, that's when I really felt like confident in the industry. That was the start then, really, weren't
But
it?
then also things became pretty relentless, right? In terms of touring.
Non-stop, yeah. Right? It was like 4 shows a week. I'm just, for probably 2 years, a year maybe.
How was it adjusting to that? Like,
difficult. Yeah. I mean, incredible. Like, so
Talk
good.
to me a little bit about the realities about that. Like, I wanna dig more, because, you know, obviously, like, you know, we're grateful for any success that comes on our way and for the abilities that we have. But I think it's also important to talk about the toll that it takes on you personally.
It is a massive toll, and doing all that made me realize how I want to do this in the industry. Like every 6 to 7 weeks I take a full weekend off. I'm not doing nowhere near as many shows during that time, because I'd rather have longevity. I don't want to burn myself out, and I definitely burnt myself out, because you think like, it's here, take it, say yes. But for me, it's a lot more empowering to say no. It's hard to say no to things, isn't it? When things that you've worked for, but I realised there was a lot of empowerment in saying no.
It raises your value as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's like supply and demand, isn't it? And God, it's such a crazy time thinking about it. God, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's mad. It's mad to see, and I know what heavy touring feels like, and the toll it can take on your body. On your spiritual, physical, mental well-being,
and relationships,
all of it. Relationships,
family, friends. You don't see your family. Like, it's like we said this, didn't we, when we first sat down, and we said, like, you work so hard for this dream, but you don't even know what that is until you're there. And it's you're so grateful for the opportunity that you have and the fact that you've got where you want it to be. But you know, the reality of touring, it is fucking hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the time difference.
So sometimes you go beyond what you think is physically what you actually can do. Like when you go
you've got another level.
Yeah, where you think like this is actually hell and torture, right? Like sleep deprivation, you know? Because I watched a couple of Josh Baker's vlogs the other day, and he had one where he addressed like, people said like, never seen somebody that's living the dream sound and look so miserable, was one of the comments that he got. This is what I mean, like people don't understand. And he goes like, guys, like, sorry to break it to you that I might look miserable, but sleep deprivation is a real thing.
Yes.
It's a real thing, you know?
It is literally torture, and people don't see that, and it's so easy for people on the outside to comment and say this to you, but when you're in it, and you know, over a weekend of 3 shows, you maximum probably getting 7-8 hours sleep, like 2-3 hours a night. It's the
first one.
Torture.
First one you're fine.
Yeah.
Second one you're hanging.
Yeah.
Third one you just like how am I gonna get through this one?
Honestly, get me home.
Yeah, 3 show weekends have always been rough. Yeah, like always been rough. Intense. Especially 3 show weekends in 3 different countries.
Oh my God.
Those are
and
the
then
hardcore
like you're
ones.
in like a random place in the south of Italy, then you've got to get up to Spain, and then connection flights and
in some godforsaken airport for like 2 hours.
That serves sandwiches only.
Waiting for a connecting flight and eating a croissant with some sweaty cheese on it.
I don't like sandwiches. That is one thing. Airports need to sort this out. I can't handle a sandwich. I'm sick of sandwiches. I'm over it.
For me, the bane of my existence is empanadas, because like I go to South America so much. It's like, do you want to get some empanadas? No, not again. Not again. Please, no, anything but, you know, or even getting healthy food while you're on the road.
You cannot. That is the hardest bit about it.
That's the hardest thing,
Yeah. You can't eat clean. Like, to be fair, in the hotels that I stay at, majority of the time, I always say, please, there's got to be a gym. So even if you haven't slept that much, you can still wake up and try and stay within your routine that you're in at home.
I remember, do you remember there was like a big hoo-ha about Jeremy Underground demanding a sauna in his like,
no.
So like there was like this thing where Jeremy Underground was kind of portrayed as some sort of diva that is like really taking the piss because he insisted on having a hotel that has a sauna, basically.
But what?
And he goes like, and he just, in his statement, he just wrote one thing. He goes like, I need a sauna. I'm a very stressed guy. And I'm like,
that's hilarious.
I totally understand. It's like, man likes to go after the show and sweat it out in the sauna for like an hour, and that keeps him going.
Yeah.
It's not a crazy diva demand.
No,
he's not like, please have a couple of bottles of Moe when I'm come
M&Ms.
to the DJ booth and just blue M&Ms in a bowl and nothing else. You know, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's like, I need a sauna.
Well,
and
it's
a
like
gym.
and it's like creating these little routines within the tour to kind of keep you
sane.
Yeah, and to just give you a little bit more energy in life. It's important. Like, we aren't machines, and I think one thing within this industry, people just think you're a robot, don't they? It's like work, and you have to perform when you're sleep deprived and you're knackered, and then how can you perform when you're so tired?
Yeah,
and you probably don't feel as creative and inspired, and you have to find what works for you.
And you've got to put on a happy face when you're stepping out of it.
You've got to be the brand, you know.
Also, it's really down to the artist to set the boundaries.
Exactly.
Because agents and like,
you just get pushed and pushed.
Nothing against agents, I love my agents.
They're doing their job.
I love my agents, and also, like, I've worked with some great managers before, but they want to keep you on the road as much as you can because, at the end of the day, it's about work and it's a business, and you've got to understand that. And it's down to the artist to set the boundaries. I remember watching this Avicii documentary.
Yes.
And
just the one on Netflix.
The one on Netflix. And he was sat in a car and they're driving to like Ultra Festival in Miami, and he's like literally just just nodding off, and then like there's this publicist next to him. She's like, and then you're doing the radio interview, and you're doing the radio interview. You're good to do the radio, and he's like yes, and he's like yes, and he's like, and then you're doing this and you're doing that, and I was just like, when is there somebody going to say stop?
But there isn't.
Yeah.
And any normal job you have where you're employed, you have a HR, someone that will look after you. If things are really going wrong, they'll check in with you.
Yeah.
But really, in this industry, we don't have that.
Yeah.
Do we? Like,
and also in any normal job, nobody would ask you like, do you want another bottle of vodka in the booth? or a bottle of tequila?
And the way you build connection is by having tequila with people.
And then like, hey, everybody, let's like, it's not like you're showing up of the office and downing hard liquor, Like,
so
that's not a normal...
It's not normal, is it?
It's not a normal job.
It's normalised because it's our job in our industry,
it's
but when you think about
but it's not normal.
It's not normal.
Yeah,
but like you said, it's so important to create those boundaries, and I feel from the viral moment, that's what made me create the boundaries, definitely, and knowing exactly what works for me. I'm not in this industry to get burnt out. Like, I'm in it because I love it and I want to enjoy it. Sometimes it's not going to feel that great, but I'm going to try and do everything I can to make it feel like that.
It must have been a steep learning curve when that happened.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like you've negotiated it really well.
I mean, I was, not that I was prepared. Well, I guess in a sense I was preparing for that, but I always wanted this, and I feel I'm only 10% of where I want to be. There's so much more that I want. I'm so hungry for more now, definitely.
You know what? I was never worried about you doing this well, because from what I saw from you, from what the kind of stuff that you put out about yourself, I just realized that you're a grounded person. Like, you've got your husband. You got married recently. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
He's been with you like,
11
as
years.
boyfriend before and then husband. So you guys were a team. He's seen you go through the ranks. He's been part of that journey, traveling with you a lot of the time.
Yeah. With me a lot.
So that must have been grounding. And then you've got your spiritual practices as well.
Yeah, totally.
Talk to me about that and how that keeps you grounded.
Yeah, so I meditate literally every day, just try and keep grounded within the chaos, and I mean, this morning I played last night, slept for probably 4 hours. I woke up, went straight to the gym in the sauna, didn't do much, but it's like doing these small practices every day that just make us feel better. I also do ice baths at home, just these small things, and I eat really clean when I'm at home, and I I drink celery juice every morning. I'm so regimented with it. That's one thing I miss when I'm touring, my celery juice.
Have you ever watched that movie Stutz on Netflix? Stutz.
Nah.
So it's about this therapist called Phil Stutz, and it's a movie made by Jonah Hill, the actor, and Phil Stutz is his therapist. And Phil Stutz is a wonderful man. I highly recommend watching the movie. I'll send you a link afterwards. But he talks about your life force, and he says there's a pyramid of your life force. The foundation and the bottom of the pyramid is you in the relationship to your own body.
Yes.
Right? That's the foundation of everything. If you don't have that, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Right? So if you get your body working better, if you look after your body, get enough sleep, exercise, good nutrition, that's the foundation. And then the next level is you and your relationship to others. So not losing those connections, being grounded, having people around you that knew you before you were, the big DJ. That where you just Fleur, and you're just not that DJ persona.
That is so important.
You're just Fleur, know, the Fleur that he's always known, or friends, partners. And then the top of the pyramid is you in the relationship to yourself.
Yes.
And you'll have that through journaling, meditation, like introspection. And he says like that's the life force pyramid. And if you keep investing in all those 3 layers, relationship to your own body, relationship to others, and relationship to yourself, you keep expanding your life force, and then that allows you to do more and more and more and more continuously. And I feel you got that dialed in. It sounds like
it. Definitely. Like hearing that is beautiful. I'm definitely going to check that out. But I like the idea of that pyramid because it's so true. Like if you aren't respecting your own body and looking after the vessel, how can you do the other things? How can creativity flow? How can I get in the studio when I'm exhausted? Do you know what I mean? And this is where the boundaries come in with the agent and the work and everything. Like I can't be Fleur Shore without Fleur. Do you know what I mean? And me being at home, being grounded and doing these small practices to look after myself, I can then be Fleur Shore and I can turn up and I can perform to the best of my ability. Looking after the self is the number one. So important. And we're sometimes going to make bad choices and do whatever and party and all this shit, but that's also part of being a human. We're in this experience too. We're not like we are a spiritual being, but there's balance. We're in this.
And it's not about being a monk. It's about It's about getting that balance that allows you to sometimes be exuberant, indulge in partying, indulge in making silly decisions, but then you balance it out with all the other stuff.
With the discipline in the other parts. But it's important. You got to let your hair down. It's a good
you
party. A good party sometimes is the best.
It is.
So the relationship to the self and the body. One book that I read, Chad Helmstetter, it's called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And it's about these daily cycles that we have inside the mind, negative cycles that you're saying bad things to yourself. And until I read this book, I didn't even realise, and it brought so much awareness. Like when you're doing something, you're like, oh, you shit at that, or you can't do that. And it's like these small self-talk. It's like the self-talk inside the mind can be really negative sometimes. It's programmed to be negative.
Crazy sometimes.
Because we're programmed to look for danger. So it's programmed to be negative, to look for problems. But until you realise that, you don't know how much negative talk you're giving yourself, and you're putting your self-worth down. You're thinking you're not capable of these things. But when I noticed that, it really changed things to me, like mentally. Like,
you know what? This is a huge one for me. Like, I didn't get it out of a book. I read it somewhere. Be aware of your self-talk. And I would do these things where sometimes, I would leave my wallet at home or something, and I'd be like, "You fucking idiot! You fucking idiot! You left your I would talk to myself I would never talk to anybody like that. Not on the internet, not in real life, but to yourself. You're using these words, and you wouldn't address anybody else. And becoming aware of that is huge. I think you're onto something there, because this is something that I notice. I can be terrible with it. Like I was just like, no, ease up. Like, it's not the end of the world. You're not an idiot.
But it's these small behaviors and this self-talk is so important because it gives you belief. And when you have belief, you are unstoppable. And
I love that. Thank you so much for the book recommendation.
Of course.
Your keen sense of fashion that you have.
Yes.
You're looking very funky now.
Yeah, thank you.
As you always do.
Yeah.
And this is something that I noticed about you from the very beginning. This girl's got a unique sense of style. And I know that you're delving into that. Tell me, first of all, like, how did you get into that? Like, why did you start loving... Yeah, I know you love trainers. I know you love,
that
like,
was where the
streetwear.
obsession started, really.
So, like, how did you get into all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of been into that since I was young. I only realised as I got older that me kind of, you know, getting into fashion and wearing certain clothes was just another form of expression before I found music, you know. And I think, like, it all ties into the same thing. Creativity is creativity, whether you find that in clothes, in writing, drawing, making music. There's so many different forms of it, and that's obviously for me what intertwines. Like, for me, like, fashion intertwines with music because it's just a way for me to express, just as when I sit down to make music, and it's another way of me to express. And I think, especially as well, to make a stamp in this industry, you need to do something that's different.
Yeah.
And I think the way, you know, I choose to dress is something that's different, and I think it makes me stand out. But I also just genuinely like it. Like,
you would dress that way whether you're a DJ or not.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just like I love being comfy too.
Yeah.
I'm always in massive clothes.
Yeah. But massive clothes, but massive yet stylish. So that is not an easy kind of line to straddle.
Yeah.
But now I'm hearing you getting into creating your own fashion brand as well.
Yes.
So talk to me about that.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. So this was probably in January, and I was kind of at a point, and I was like, right, I want something else to kind of pour into. And I remember I was in the woods with my husband, and we ate loads of magic mushrooms. And I was just like, before I'd done it, I really set an intention, like, to show me maybe my next step or something that I want. And I remember I was sat, it's so fucking crazy. Like, I remember I was sat up this tree, and I remember I just had my eyes shut, and I was just breathing. And then I started to see, like, all these trees around me. And it was obviously the trees around, but then these trees, like, when I shut my eyes, I can see it so clear. But these trees started to merge into, like, all these women. And, like, as I was sat there, I remember I was, like, looking up with my eyes shut, and these women were like my ancestors. But as they started to come closer to me, I was like, shit, my mind just went, it's you. You know. Like, it was so clear. And I actually realised that all these women around me was just me.
Aspects of your own character.
It was all parts of me, like the shadow, the parts that I love.
You know, this is super interesting. I'm really into Jungian psychology, right? And the language of dreams.
Yeah.
And quite often we have dreams where we're in a group of people, but we don't really know who they are. You don't know any names.
Yeah.
And the whole group is all you.
It's all reflection.
It's
of
all
yourself.
you. It's all aspects of your own character.
Totally,
So that's kind of the same thing.
That's what it was. And it's like, I was kind of asking, what I got from that is, like, I was asking out, what is it? Almost pushing it to everyone else. But I had to go back to myself and ask myself, and all the people that I thought they were people, but it was me. It was me guiding me. And I know that sounds fucking crazy, but
no, it doesn't sound crazy at all
like,
to me.
when you do these psychedelics, you just get the answer that is the truth, and it's you. And then this happened on the Saturday, because I remember it was on a weekend off. On the Monday, my manager, Matt, had an email, blah, 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 really want to start a clothing brand with Fleur. And it was a guy reaching out that wanted to start it with me.
Right.
And then it went from there.
So the universe just laid it out, out in front of you.
Honestly, such a beautiful experience. And then obviously met up, went back and forth, and then... So yeah, this is actually one of the jerseys that's coming.
So
on
one
the
you're
job.
wearing, and it's got some shrooms on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's got the shrooms on. It's got the mushrooms on it to give dedication, like these tiny little mushrooms.
Yeah, I can see them.
Yeah, to give dedication, because
they got little eyes going on them. Like, I love it. Well, look, first of all, about mushrooms. I take mushrooms on the regular to heal.
Yes. Do you microdose or, like, big dose?
I don't do big doses because, like, I had, like, once quite a very intense ayahuasca experience.
Oh, yeah.
That made me go, like, I never want to have that intensive of psychedelic experience again. But I still see the value of psychedelics. So, like, I do what's called, like, you know, a mild, I wouldn't do a heroic dose, but I do, like, a mild trip where you get visuals when you close your eyes. Yeah. But when you open your eyes, you're kind of back in the room, and you can, be,
How much would you say you take when you do that? Do you know, like, a dose?
The grams?
Yeah.
I think it's about 1.2 to 1.3.
Oh yeah, that's
that's
a
a
nice,
mild
but it's still
dose.
enough to take
still
you there.
enough to trip.
Yeah.
And to get the benefits. And I'll do them very intentionally. It's not a recreational thing.
Yeah.
I'll do it at home. I lie with my eyes closed. I put on John Hopkins, Music for Psychedelic.
Nice.
Do you know this album? Music for Psychedelic.
Yeah.
The John Hopkins is an absolute master of ambient psychedelic music.
Yeah.
And he literally just takes you into like a sacred realm. You know, you feel the sacredness of the music, of the experience.
Yeah.
And it's a very important tool for self-healing for me. And,
So
we're living here in Amsterdam. Well, we're not living. We are in Amsterdam right now here.
Yeah.
You can just go to a shop and buy them. Like, mushrooms are.
But there has to be an intention, like you were saying then.
It has to be intentional.
Very intentional. And I feel if you don't, what I actually think is because the mushrooms can connect you so deeply to yourself.
Yeah.
There has to be an intention, because otherwise you're going in blind, and there's so much to be unearthed that there needs to be a clear intention. And I think it's a respect for the mushroom too, because you're opening up this vast, unexplainable realm. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't think will we ever understand
how humans have this weird symbiosis with some plants that can unlock, like, your psyche, like feelings of love, acceptance, self-healing. You know what's crazy, that going into a bit of my family history, but like both of my parents have passed away quite a while ago, and I went through that process with them, guiding them towards ultimate death and passing away. And I remember my dad being paralyzed by fear. And that generation never experimented like it's not true that generation did experiment a lot, but my parents in particular never experimented with psychedelics or did anything like that. And there's lots of studies out now where they're saying that when you're terminal and you take a large dose of mushrooms, it's one of the most therapeutic things that you can do. And people live in grace, love, and acceptance without fear. Till the very last day they have, and they get to enjoy whatever time's left and live that consciously with their loved ones. It's such a profound thing that's now a proper therapeutic accepted tool.
I have seen this.
Where people go terminal, they're terminal for something, and they'll take a dose and it's all good afterwards. You're still going to pass away, like it doesn't change your fate. But the acceptance and how the way you do it is probably, like one of the most profound things that can happen to you.
And I think what it does is it shows you that, like, the soul is limitless. And we're in this vessel now, in this consciousness. But this is just so limited. But when you pass away, it's like it's limitless. It's unlimited. And I think that's what it shows. And I think when you do a big dose as well of mushrooms, you have a full death. It's not just
it's death and rebirth. Ego death and rebirth.
Full ego death. And I think that's probably what it is with like terminal patients. But it's so interesting. It interests me so much. There's such a realm out, an undiscovered realm.
It gives me a lot of peace and solace thinking about that as you get older and you come into terms with your own mortality, as thinking like, you're not going to be on this planet forever, to see that there is a way of seeing that out in a way that is empowering, with grace. And but as we're on the subject, the difficult subject of loss, stealing people, you've recently went through, a quite difficult event that, the person that you've been working with for, most part of your career and talk to every day, Matt Tolfrey, has recently passed away. I don't want to talk about the circumstances, because out of respect of his family, to his family, and his loved ones. But what I would like to talk about is the impact that he had on you and your career. Talk to me about that a little bit.
I mean, we started working together 5 years ago, and before I started with him, I was just this lost little puppy. I didn't know I didn't understand what the industry was. I just didn't understand what it was. And he showed me everything about the industry. His musical knowledge was just so vast. He showed me what it was to be part of this, to be part of the community, to be part of the industry. and he gave me so much knowledge. Like, I now understand the industry, and it's all because of him. He's shown me everything, and he introduced me to a world which I had no clue about, and he was so willing to just take me under his wing and to show me everything. And I'm so grateful that I had that. And, you know, like I said to you earlier, we spoke every day for 5 years. We were such good friends. So it's such a sad loss. So
I'm so sorry about that. And, you know, like, I think you're doing him proud. You know,
totally.
like the career that you've built is a sort of part of his legacy as well.
Definitely.
Which lives on, you know, not just the music that he created, his own creativity, his artistry. You know, like, I want to tell a little story about him as well. Like, I met Matt first when he played at Fuse London when I was a resident there.
Yeah.
And he always came in with tunes that were unexpected. And I remember the place went off when he played Love Shack at Fuse.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you play Love Shack as a house DJ? Apparently you can.
Yeah.
Tolfrey did it. And the place was just like singing along, you know, to Love Shack, you know. And just to have the balls to drop that was like, that was Matt. And then like, years later, we were booked together to play at Lost Beach.
Yes, I remember he told me about that.
At Montanita, you know?
He told me about you guys together.
And it was like, and he just taught me, like, he'd played there many times before. You know, Cami, the owner of Lost Beach Club in Montanita is a character.
He's a great guy, ain't he? He's like, awesome.
But then also, Cami likes to work you.
Oh,
like, You play a couple of gigs at that booking. Yeah. It's like in the middle of the night, there's a knock at the door, and it's like, time to play the afters. Come on, get out there. And Matt told me about all of this and warned me about all of this, and we had a great time together. So it is a sad loss. But, you know, I have really fond memories of him. And
everybody
you know, like,
does.
Yeah.
So you speak to anybody in the industry, everybody knew Matt. Beautiful person, big heart, and willing to help anybody. Anybody, like, give advice, any kind of advice. He was just so willing.
Yeah, and I just want to say that, like, this goes to show us just, like, you know, like, these things come, like, sometimes out of the blue. You don't expect them. You don't see them coming up.
No way.
You know, and we think we know. We check in with people on a daily basis. We think they're okay. You never know what's going on inside.
No, you don't.
And just sometimes asking and going like, "Hey, is everything okay?" Well, if you notice, just sometimes somebody like has an off day, just asking them whether they're okay or not, you know, can just make a hell of a difference. Because I feel we're losing too many people that we shouldn't be losing. You know?
And I think it's just taught me so much about compassion.
Yeah,
this thing with Matt. I mean, I actually lost my best friend as well a month ago.
You've told me just earlier.
Yeah. So it's been a tough time, man. But you know, it's nothing that I can't handle. I'm going to be okay. This is life, isn't it? It's
loss is part of life.
It is, and that's what I'm realizing, and almost just surrendering to any experience that is going to be thrown at me, because there's nothing I can do.
Yeah,
I've just got to try and control the controllables
and appreciating the people around you and the time that you have with them. You know, really appreciating this. Like, it just brings you back into the moment, and it brings you back into like living and appreciating
and what's important. Yeah, and like, just follow your dream, man.
Yeah.
If you love something, then give it everything.
Yeah.
Because life is so short.
So short.
Yeah. Just
even
live.
if you're living a long life, it goes by in a blink. It's
so, and it's like we're just so irrelevant, and we're so, what you're saying earlier about comparing, we're so sometimes fixated and all this, and it's like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Just fucking enjoy the ride.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
the ride.
Enjoy
you know,
it.
I had this thing. I was in Chile and I was playing this huge show. I was opening for Rafa Barrios. It must have been 10,000 people in Santiago, and I had this guy hired to do some filming for me.
Yeah.
And he was filming the dancers. He's
filming
the ceiling. He's filming the stage. And I was getting angry and angry. While I was DJing, and I was looking to it, I was like trying to gesture to you, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I just thought to myself, you are DJing in front of 10,000 people right now.
Yeah.
You've dreamt of this your whole life.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple of good clips.
Yeah.
He's not the only one filming. Just enjoy the moment.
It's so true.
Be in the moment and enjoy it. And like, I feel like because we talked about spirituality before, I feel gratitude is like whenever I deal with like this comparing side of things in the industry, comparing yourself on socials, dealing with feelings of jealousy and stuff like that, the thing that always brings me back to myself is gratitude.
Yes, totally.
And then I do this gratitude meditation. This is also in the movie Stutz.
Oh yeah.
Where I highly recommend this. It's been a game changer for me. This movie and the book he's written. He's got a book as well, but he has this meditation called the Grateful Flow. And the Grateful Flow is you list quietly in your head 5 things that you're grateful for now. Can be as simple as like, I'm grateful for the seat in the bus that I've just got. I'm grateful for this really nicely brewed cup of tea that I had in the morning. Like little things, and it can be big things as well. But 5 things, and you notice the feeling that you have when you list these things quietly in your head, and then you just stay in that feeling, basically. Stay in that feeling. And you can do that before you go to bed, like the Grateful Flow, and that has always brought me back to myself and to the moment. And
it's a beautiful thing to do, isn't it? Like me and my husband do that in bed.
Yeah?
Yeah, when we get into bed, we'll say, what's 5 things you're grateful for today?
You do the same thing then, essentially.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful thing to do. And like you said, it brings you back. And sometimes, like you said about the story in Santiago, it's like the mind can just wonder. And it's like, it's here, isn't it? It's right here. And doing that, it brings you back to the south and grounded.
You've got a lot on your plate. You've got a full calendar. You start in the fashion label. Tell me what's happening in 2026 and what you're excited about.
Yeah. So just that for me, obviously, it's time for a new step now. It's, I've been in the industry 5 years and it's just time. And I know next year, just the music that I'm working on, I'm just so excited, like working with vocalists and it's time now.
Taking things to the next level in terms of music production.
Yeah, I want to, and one thing I've been thinking, like I want to do maybe some crossover now. That's what I'm thinking. Definitely crossover records. I'm just thinking, like, let's just see how
something
big
that can work on daytime radio as well.
That's what I'm thinking, because I think that's all I'm missing now. I feel I've got everything else kind of covered.
And I feel a lot of underground DJs in the UK have now prepared the ground for that.
Yes.
We've had Rossi going on the official UK charts.
Yeah.
We've had Josh doing incredibly well with music.
It's so inspiring.
That still retains, but they still retain the underground sound, but they've got the crossover vocals on there, and it's worked. And you can see that happening again and again. I think we're entering a beautiful phase in house music where we have really credible artists doing tunes that that can be enjoyed outside of the club environment.
Yeah, definitely. And that is something that holds for me next year, definitely.
Well, I'm excited to hear what's next in store for you. I think it's going to go from strength to strength for you as it has done ever since you started in this business. And I couldn't see it happen to a more worthy person, because
thank you.
You've always stayed yourself, and it's always just been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much for being part of this podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Guys, if you enjoyed this podcast, then as always, please subscribe, comment, like. We aim to always answer any questions you might have in the community. And if you want to learn how to make house music, come and join us in the Dojo Pro community. We have everything in there, all the resources in there that you need to become an amazing house music producer and to make yourself a success in the industry. Not just music production, but also how to work on your own self-discipline, creativity, and all the other things like social media. So check out Dojo Pro, and thank you very much for watching this podcast.